could you please introduce yourself and where we are?
Yeah, Caine Thompson, Head of Sustainability for O'Neill Vintners, and we are here at Robert Hall Winery, and we are in our trial block where we're comparing conventional viticulture with regenerative organic. So we're standing in the block where the trial is located, and this is a story of a conversion study from 5 years ago. We started farming this way and converted to the regenerative organic principles here, and we're comparing and contrasting with conventional viticulture. So on this side here, you've got basically a conventional farming system on 5 acres, and then for the rest of the estate here, it's all converted to regenerative organic farming.
Lovely.
Yeah, so undervine cultivation for weed control. A lot of compost, you see under the vines here, combination of undervine banded compost and then also broadcast spread as well. So we've got putting about 6 tons to the acre of compost across the vineyard, and then really carrying a permanent cover crop all year or as long as we can, so it doesn't get terminated. We grow it all year. It will naturally kind of brown off as it gets warmer, but we leave those roots in the ground to protect from the sun, so it's a physical barrier to actually preserve more moisture in the soil.
And what are you finding with it so far? This has been, you're in the 5th year now. This
Yeah,
is the largest study in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And what are the findings so far?
We started off with about 0.8% organic matter. Now we're up to over 1.5% organic matter, which is a huge shift, which is really encouraging. So we're holding more moisture, we're holding more nutrition, we're getting a bigger, stronger, more robust canopy that is definitely more resilient, particularly in hot seasons. So 4 out of the last 5 years have been pretty warm vintages, and we're seeing better resilience of the canopies, a bigger canopy. It's protecting the fruit, so we've got a lot less heat damage and shrivel comparatively to the conventional control. So as a result, over the last 4 vintages, we've actually had on average a 7% yield increase because the fruit is being preserved better. So the condition of the fruit and the skin isn't being affected by the climate extremes as much, which is really encouraging. And then we're also seeing between 13 and 20% more moisture availability in the soil, which is helping with that bigger, stronger canopy as well. That's then providing more shade, not only to the fruit, but onto the cover crop as well. So that's working together to lower soil temperatures and hold more moisture. And as you get a bigger canopy, it's this kind of flywheel effects just keep accelerating. We're absorbing about 190% more carbon out of the atmosphere in the regenerative organic side comparatively to the conventional, because we've got a bigger, stronger, more robust canopy. So that's allowing us to actually store more carbon down in the soil, and we can see that with some of the data we have from the agrology sensors. And then basically the costing side of it, when you move to this form of farming, we've captured cost over this 5-year period. So the first year we're about 10% more expensive farming this way, because we're doing more biocontrol drops with drones and predators for pests. Our undervine tillage, we weren't as effective as what we are now. We're also doing more passes, but now we're down to about a 5% increase per acre in farming costs, but it's really being offset by this slight improvements in yield that we're getting, which is around the last 5 years about a 7% average yield increase. So we're really optimistic about this form of farming and the benefits it's having, not only to the soil and to the fruit and to the overarching ecosystem, but also to the people working in the vineyard as well. The social fairness standard is really significant, and people play one of the biggest roles in the ecosystem of a vineyard or an agriculture as a whole. And so it's really amazing to see the benefits of the full ecosystem, including people, really flourish under this form of farming.
What has been like the most exciting thing that you've, that has come out of this for you personally?
Yeah, I think the most exciting piece for me personally is just how quickly positive change can happen, and that's so exciting because things in agriculture like generally take a long time, and to see an effect like within a year is encouraging, and kind of makes you want you to do more. And so it's the like diversity, like in the vineyards and the regenerative organic side, there's just more life. Like our biodiversity counts are 3 to 4 times higher than our biodiversity counts in the conventional control, and that all happened like within a year, and it just keeps accelerating as you remove synthetics and you start building like more life. You get exactly that, more life and diversity in the vineyard. Yeah, so as you can see here, there's no herbicides haven't been used here for the last 5 years, but we're creating this like really nice soil under the vine here, and you can see how soft that is. When you go back 5 years ago, we couldn't even get a spade through this soil. So this is 5 years of compost being built, and just without any synthetics or herbicides used, we're getting like a really nice, friable, loose, nutritious soil that is really friable. So it's allowing our irrigation to be effective when we do irrigate later in the season, comparatively to the like harder pans when we first started. Yeah, so for the first 3 years we were direct drilling our cover crops in. Now, as you can see, we didn't put a direct drill at cover crop in last year, but we've got this kind of natural population that's from these cover crops that just keeps kind of reseeding. So a soil will only grow what a soil like wants to grow, and I feel like we're building up the seed base and the seed bank of the plants that we want here to provide some diversity and provide some permanent cover here. So it's looking good so far. We've had a couple of inches of rain in the last week, so this is really going to flourish and take off now before we bring the sheep in, probably in about a month's time. As you can see, our cordon wire is relatively high. It's probably at 4.5 feet. So it does allow us to graze for longer periods. So we can be grazing right in through to like mid-spring, and on the tail end of the season as well. It also just minimizes damage that the sheep can do to the vine and property. So we really are optimistic about this kind of trellising design system for vineyards of the future.
So if anybody was interested in grazing, what changes would you wish for in this thing? I mean, I see you've got the irrigation line down here. Would you want that up higher? Does that bother the sheep?
It doesn't usually bother them. I think you can go either low or high. If you go low enough, they'll just step right across it. It's when it's kind of mid-height they can kind of hit it and break it. And if it's like, well, the other option is putting it kind of really high, so they just move kind of seamlessly through, which is probably the best approach. What we find here, this is relatively low, so the sheep can like comfortably just walk over it, as long as they're not spooked and scared. But it works well.
And generally you seem positive about the higher trellis the higher grow area.
I think the higher trellis works really well in a warm climate. Especially when it's kind of sprawling like this. You can see the growth. It provides a lot of protection for the fruit, then also the mid-row as well. So it's helping provide some shade that's leading to more moisture being held in the soil as well, and it's helping the soil temperatures remain relatively cool.
Nice.
Yeah.